So yeah, the first one that I mentioned, spending more than you make, is a money trap in your 20s that you need to avoid. Most people in high school, a lot of them, like they were living with their parents. Their parents were paying for all their stuff or whatever. And when they first get that job or whatever outside of like high school to like maybe help pay for college, or even they just don't even go to college, they're just like, oh man, I'm making money, I can do stuff now. Mm-hmm. I can live my life and it'll be okay. When you spend more than you make and you keep on going, you're like, man, like, what am I gonna do? And then that's when you start relying on things like credit cards and like debt. Because what you want to do is you want to budget, especially like taking care of your baseline expenses. Like, you'd be surprised how many people, by the end of the month, are like, we're always short like $500 on our bills. How is that possible? And it comes from you spending more than you make.
So, like I told you before, I was at a breaking point. And I really, the Bible says in Revelations 12:11, it says, my people overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. And this is my testimony, because I want you to know what happened with me. So, basically, as I told you before, I was doing too much, trying to live like the Joneses, and I was spending more than I actually made. I didn't have any margins, and what I had to understand is that I'm not rich. I was making decent money. I was making, I think at that time, about $8,000. But, like I said, all of a sudden, everything changed because my margins weren't right. My margins were off. And I didn't have any wiggle room. So when things changed financially for me, that was it. It was a wrap. I did not own the house that I was in. Beautiful house. I was in beautiful. That house was beautiful. Gorgeous. We called it the executive house.
Woo!
And I had been there for 10 years, sitting up there paying, not owning. Had 6 bedrooms, beautiful. But I didn't have the money to pay for that, but I was struggling on along, spending all the money that I had, was not putting up any for savings. And so but like I said, God had put in my spirit, this ain't gonna last. You need to make some adjustments. And you need to get out of this industry that I was in. But I wouldn't listen. And lo and behold, everything went to crashing. Didn't have nothing, lost everything. And so I'm sitting up here. What in the world am I going to do? What in the world am I going to do? Because literally, I'm going to tell you this. Literally, and a lot of you are in this place. You're making $75,000 or you're spending $75,000. And then some are even worse than that. You're making $75,000 and you spending $85,000. That was me. And you can't do that. Can you tone it down a little bit? Can you tone it? And I'm gonna put this on the screen because I want you to see this, because this is what a lot of us need to do. You need to realize that you're not there yet. You ain't there yet. You're not. You ain't Mark Zuckerberg yet. You ain't Bill Gates yet. You're not Elon Musk yet. You might not ever be that, but you're not there yet where you can just sit up here and spend all this money and not consider that you need to save a little here, save a little there, so that if something does happen, you got it. You got it covered. I didn't do that, man. And it was bad. It was hard. I mean, it was hard, man, because I was living ahead of my means. And so when it all came crashing down, not only did I have a hard time with it, but my family had a hard time. Wife and kids had a hard time with it because I had not prepared my household for that. I had gotten them used to living ahead of our means. I gotten them used to that. They were used to that. They were programmed to that. I was programmed. And when you're programming your household to living beyond their means, ahead of their means, it's hard to pull back the levers and say, no, we can't do that no more. We can't do that over there. Not to mention, you married. Come on now, y'all just, Don't preach me down too much now. You's married. You's married. And your wife might not be for that because this is the way you've managed. You've managed them to expect you to overspend and do whatever by any means necessary. Hook or crook. Shake or bait. To get them what they want, when they want it, how they want it, wherever they want it.